going to do some trade now. We're going to get people on the table. Okay, but before that, I want to talk about channels. Okay, so acupuncture school, we spend a lot of time on channels. Okay, but in my opinion, this is all we need. Okay, and this is all that's useful. Okay, so first of all, channels are electrical in nature. They are like rivers. Okay, they're not lines. Okay, what we learn in school is the channels are like, just pencil line. Right? It goes from here to here, and there's some absurd lines. Okay, for example, stomach channel actually comes down here, and it goes to the top, then it goes back down. Okay, it doesn't work like that. In normal stomach channel, it just basically goes down all the way down to in between your second and third toe, and that's it. Okay. When a person is angry, the stomach channel can go backwards. But when it goes backwards, it cannot go back to here, because then the Du channel cannot be reversed. When Du channel is reversed, the person goes mad. Okay? I don't know how many people who did something violent once in their life is because the channel is actually going backwards and goes into their Du channel, and they did something that's just unconscious. They're completely out. It's almost like this person is completely out of this person's mind, but it's because this thing goes backwards. It cannot go backwards. So our body has this fail-safe mechanism to say, okay, when you are super mad and you want to defend yourself, your stomach channel actually goes backwards. It comes here. It actually has to continue to come to this point where it goes into UB channel, goes into the back channel, so you can fight rather than destroy. It's very, very different. Okay.
Say that again, please.
So the stomach channel during normal time is basically going from Yingtang, which is right here, third eye, okay, going down to face here, continue to go down to our second and third toe. When the person is agitated or irritated or provoked, right, and the channel goes backwards, okay? If it goes the same route as it comes from, it will go here, all the way here, and then here's a channel called the Du channel. If it goes into the Du channel, it's going to push the Du channel backwards, and the person goes absolutely just mad. Okay, just lose conscious. Okay, I've met a couple people like that. So the body has this intelligence to say, okay, when this channel goes backwards, it actually comes here, goes all the way up here, joins what we call the bladder channel, which normally goes from here. So it actually strengthens the bladder channel. The bladder channel goes entirely throughout back, throughout buttock, throughout everything else, right? Goes to the heel, goes to the little toe. Okay? So from a fighting standpoint, if you see somebody fight like this, right? This is stomach channel goes backwards. You cannot open this person up. Right? Instead of saying, I try to protect myself. Okay? You can't even open this person up. So if there's a child who goes into this pose, because severe protection, you cannot open this person up, no matter how strong you are. Okay. So channels. So I pay a lot of attention to any scars along this path. Okay, any scar along here, any scars underneath here. Okay, critical. Because when especially like actually here, they actually may block the stomach channel, but anything here, okay, people have cosmetic surgery, facelift or whatever, right? So there's scars along the hairline. Their stomach channel is this fail-safe route. Okay, it doesn't work anymore. It gets blocked. Okay, so this is like the pressure cooker. Okay, too much and it goes right. That's the escape valve. escape valve, right? It doesn't work anymore. So very, very critical. So I'm sure in your practice you're going to see people like that. Okay, they have scars somewhere around here, somewhere around here. They can get violent.
Yes.
So their parents will say, "Oh, normally a very, very nice child, right? Well, very, very nice person. But when he gets mad, oh my gosh, he's going to blow out the house."
And like I see a lot of people who are incarcerated and have tattoos here
Yes.
and here and here.
Yeah.
Even the piercing. Yes.
Yeah. So very, very, very critical. Okay.
Looking at me here is this part of it.
This part is not quite it. Okay, but because of that's why I want a needle.
Yeah.
And because it goes here, right? And you're trying to say, okay, I don't like myself here, or you're conscious of this.
Yeah.
So the key is for you to look into the mirror and love yourself.
Yeah, because I had this when I was children were crossing this maybe 9 years, and the motorcycle just hit me before.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
But
So it is not just the scar, okay, but it's also like a self-protection around this area. So there will be more rigidity, okay, there will be more muscle memory, okay, more tightness, so it kind of blocks things. Okay. So we're gonna connect to your heart goal,
oh wow.
okay, and we're gonna needle, okay. So very interesting, right?
Yes.
So again, back to my point. Okay, so channels are not aligned. Okay, we learn in school the UB channel goes like back, goes to the knee, and then comes back, and then do this crazy thing. No, it just goes. Okay, it's a river, and because somebody has to name the cities along the river, they go these wild routes. Okay, the gallbladder channel doesn't go. Okay, so just like that. Okay, when you, it's like you just just this is it. Okay, this is your gallbladder channel. Okay, easy as that. Okay, so forget about all the points. Okay? Points are good for testing purposes. Okay, so channels are feelable. Okay, we can feel how the channel flows easily. Okay? Anybody can do this. Anybody. Okay? And we're going to demonstrate that as well. Okay? So somebody can lay on the table. We can scan from here to here. This is our Ren channel, basically. Right? We can scan from here to here. Okay? If the person thinks, I am absolutely useless, and you try to scan this thing, versus I have a purpose, and you scan this thing, it's dramatically different. Okay? And when you scan up and you scan down, it's different. So anytime you feel a difference, we're able to feel channels. Okay? Then it's just a matter of how we continue to feel and practice. Okay? Everybody's senses is different. Okay? It's almost like, somebody is the first generation of X-ray versus 45, 60 years later, MRI machine. Okay? Some people are very, very delicate in terms of how they feel, where does it go, and stuff like that. Okay? So channels are real, and it can be felt. Very easily. Okay? Channels are essentially mostly influenced by thoughts. So if I say I am a lighthouse, and I have scars all over the place, okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, I've seen this so many times with breast cancer patients, right, double mastectomy and stuff like that. No issue. It's when they feel I am a survivor, everything goes down. Okay, so the sense of I am thriving versus I am surviving is dramatically different. Dramatically different. Okay. Channel have 4 modes. Okay. Western science knows there's a sympathetic mode, which is fight and flight, and parasympathetic mode, which is rest and heal. Okay? There's actually 2 more modes. One is sleep. When we are asleep, the Du channel actually goes to the top of the head and then goes down. Okay? When we're asleep, the current that goes into our midbrain is actually minimized.
It minimizes?
Yeah, minimized. Okay. So around 5 o'clock, the large intestine channels start to run. Okay, so the runs, like from 11 p.m., it's our So gallbladder channel, followed by the liver channel from 1 to 3. So a lot of people wake up night terror. So that's one question for a lot of the people with similarly psychological issues is, do you wake up? And if you do, what time? And they will say 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Okay? 2:20 every morning. 2:20. And they will look at the clock and it's like, oh my God, it's like basically the same time. Why? Because it's a liver time. So when we have a huge amount of things to suppress, right, or righteous about, right, 2 o'clock, okay, between 1 and 3, that's the liver time. Okay, that's the liver are most vibrant because the liver needs to heal itself. So, well, that's a little bit more detail, but around 2 o'clock, liver takes the lead to heal whatever liver, to heal anything along the liver path. Okay, so when liver is strong and it's being controlled a lot, boom, it goes into people wake up like night terror. Just tremendous sense of like, they can't breathe or whatever, right? Night terror. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Let me take a moment, okay? I got that one student, she said, I don't let men touch me. I said, beautiful. And several classes inward, into it, she started to kind of tap into, resonate with what I share. Okay? And then one time, right before the break, she told me, it's like, I have night terror. Okay. I said, what time? She said, like 2 o'clock. I said, okay. I said, I'm not going to touch you, but when the break is over, can other female touch you? And she said, yes. Okay. So she lay on the table. At that time, we got like 1, 2, 3, 4 female students along with her. Okay, so 1 on each hand, okay, 1 on the feet, 1 basically just cup the head. Okay, so all we do is, for all the people is like you sit, right, find the best possible comfortable position, right, elevate your run one a little bit, which is the perineum, right, have a purpose, connect through loving kindness to this person's particle. Okay? And we did that for about 10 minutes. So she went from no feelings, start crying, move a lot, okay, to absolute peace. And she said, I felt hungry. Okay? She had anorexia from 16 years old. Okay? She actually went into cardiac arrest when she was 20. At that time, she was probably 30. And she later told us she hasn't felt hunger for decades. Okay? So what happens is when we're holding her channels actually shift from severe sympathetic mode to parasympathetic. Okay. 2 weeks later, she actually came to class and she told us, she actually told me first and I said, can you just share it with the class? Okay. And she said, I don't know what you guys did, okay, but she used that periods where her breasts will actually grow to one, additional size. Okay, and she couldn't walk, it was so extremely painful. She said she had a period where she has absolutely no pain. She didn't even know it's coming. Okay, what did you guys do? Okay. I said you shift your life from extreme sympathetic to something that's resting here. So your channel is actually flowing through. But I think later on she reverted back to, because she didn't really, so for some people, right, they grew up unsafe, they feel they have to defend themselves all the time, and they go back to that state. Okay. But at least she experienced that one time. So we're going to do that today. Okay, we'll do some holding, and when we do hold, it's actually mutual. Okay, the person that's on the table and the person that's not on the table potentially can all be benefited. So it's a mutual. Why did I tell that case? But anyway, so there are 4 modes. Okay, so liver, right? So that's exactly her night terror. Okay, now I remember why I went into that. It's because of night terror. Okay, yeah. Come on in. So channels goes in circles. Okay, channel is like like rivers, right? One flows to another, and it just keeps flowing. Okay, so it never breaks. There's no beginning. There's no end. Okay, there's no such thing as the first channel or the last channel. It just goes around, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. So liver is between 1 and 3 a.m. Okay, then after liver is lung time between 3 and 5. If somebody wakes up between 3 and 5, suspect there's a lung issue. Okay, they have breathing issue, they have coughing issue, they have and this can come very easily from a deficiency in the lung, in the liver channel. Okay, so when we receive treatment, be careful. I try this, okay, and I actually have conversation with teachers, and when I was an intern, I actually do not needle. I just wouldn't dare to needle people's liver fluid. Okay? Because liver qi stagnation, the presentation is excess of liver energy right here, right? And the goal is not to remove this beautiful and vibrant liver energy, is to get it through here into the lung. So I actually have a patient. He came to see me. I wouldn't even call him a patient because I basically said, "Oh, you have a really good condition. Just change your lifestyle." Because he came in with gout. He said, "I had gout problem and it's very, very painful." I said, this, if God can create a problem, this will be the problem. Okay, it's something you have to take care of. Okay, and it doesn't really cause any long-term issue, right? So he actually later on, he actually changed his lifestyle, but at the same time, he actually later told me he went and saw another acupuncturist who does liver 3 all the time. Okay, so when I saw him, because I saw him and then basically said, "Good for you." Okay, and I saw him like 9 or 10 months later, and he said he was coughing. Okay, he said he has a lot. He said, "I don't know why, but I've been coughing uncontrollable." He will be having a meeting. He's a manager, and they will be having a meeting, and go, and then come back. Okay, and then he just does that, right? And I said, "Did you get your liver channel, needle?" And he looked at me and said, "Yeah, I did." for the past 9 months. I said, "Can you please stop this, okay? And really adjust your posture, okay?" And I actually showed him the rope. Right? Did I still have the rope here? So I got him to do this stupid thing, right? I say, balance yourself, eyes level. You have a purpose. You connect to loving kindness, and from this posture, you start to do something like this. Okay? And what you do is you start to feel your power. Okay? So this is not a hand doing this. This is the entire body. Okay, so he has very, very stiff knees, very, very stiff ankles. Right? His circulation isn't that good. He's only 45 or something like that. Right? Like close to stage 4 kidney issues. Okay. But anyway, so I think 2-3 weeks later, his cough just okay. Okay, no more coughing. So to me, needling liver 3 drains the liver channel. When the liver channel is drained enough, you have absolutely no energy to the lung channel. And you go from liver qi stagnation problems to something so much deeper. Okay? Then at the school, their professors just like all day. Why? Because they needle they get to their colleagues and needle their liver 3. It makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so from a channel standpoint, it's literally the worst thing you can do. Okay. So that's the lung channel. Okay, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. From 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. is our large intestine channel. Okay. Large intestine channel is actually very interesting. Okay, there are 3 channels when we're in mother's womb. When where, cannot work. If it works, we're gonna die, mom's gonna die, okay? 3 channels. Lung channel doesn't work. We don't breathe in the womb. Large intestine channel cannot work. We cannot poop in the womb, right? And stomach channel doesn't work. So these 3 channels, when we are sick and ill, these are the 3 channels that get affected. Almost always the first. Okay? They're the last ones to fully activate and develop. Right? So between 5 and 7, that's when our large intestine channel, from basically the index finger, okay, through here, around that mouth, okay, and then go to the other side, become the stomach channel. This is the only 2 channels that cross. That's why when we walk, we don't walk like this. Right? And you can see how people walk, okay? If a person walks like this, okay, I guarantee you there's a large intestine to stomach channel issue. Because they don't coordinate. They lose that coordination. They walk like this. Okay? So in normal mode, right, we walk, just alternate. Right? That's how it's supposed to be. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Right? That's pretty interesting, right?
I won't take it too far into channels because not everybody here is an acupuncturist, but to visualize what we mean by the stomach channel, what is it like when we think of all of that vagus nerve stuff. You think of so many things going back to the do, and I was like, I wonder what causing this sort of like not mobilization. Is it something that snapped back from the do, or not being able to go down on the knee?
Yeah.
Even if maintain a, upright coordination?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting. So you look at channel blockage, right? Or you see a person walking, one hand does this, the other hand just doesn't move. Okay? It's very, very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, so the last mode, okay, so this is sleep mode. Okay, so sleep mode, okay? The last mode is what we call pause and dissociation. Okay, this is the mode that's highly associated with trauma. Okay, so pause. What is pause mode? Okay, so if I'm a mouse, I'm being chased by a cat. Okay, initially I am in fight or flight, right? I'm in sympathetic mode. I try to run away I try to avoid danger, avoid death the best I can, right? The moment I am caught and the cat's claw perforated my skin, right, I will go into what's called a pause mode, okay? That is mode when all my channel energy goes whoosh into my do channel, okay, in an instant. Okay, it's not wait until summer or fall, okay? Right away. Okay? So what we learn in school, the channels go by 4 seasons. Please find the nearest dumpster and just put it in. Okay. So as a mouse, all this, right? Why? And my blood pressure goes from 200 or even 1,000 down to 40. Right? My heart rate goes extremely high to almost undetectable. Right? My breathing goes up. Right? Nothing. Why? Because I need to preserve my life. If the cat is well fed and all it wants is a toy that does this and then it's not fun anymore, right? Then I have a chance to live. This is the mode what we call pause. All animals have this. Okay, this is the most benevolent mode in the world. Okay, all the animals in Africa, okay, they're all being eaten alive. Okay, all the people experience accident, trauma, right? Hands being cut off, right? Being hit or burned or something like that. Push, you go into that mode. There's actually no pain, which is very, very interesting, right? Because you cannot have pain in this state. Because if you still have pain, you're gonna do something, and you cannot do anything. You have to appear, for all intents and purposes, death. Right? Isn't that the coolest thing in the world? You know, instantaneous. And not only do you do that, you also curl up, so you protect this innermost precious organs, right? So you all do this, right? And this is all automatic. That's called, it's a mode called pause. Okay? So let's say the cat just wants a toy, okay, and it walks away. So between the cat caught the mouse to the time the cat walks away, the mouse appeared to be dead, but a lot of the senses are still up and running. Okay? Hearing, sense of vibration, smell, all are active to say, is the cat or is the freaking cat still around? Okay? Is the environment safe enough for me to come back to life? So you will continue to ask that question. Am I safe enough to come back to life? Am I safe enough to come back to life? Am I safe enough to come back to life? This actually comes from out of the midbrain. Somewhere in the brain is actually sending this signal, asking this question, keep polling. It's like, keep polling, you know, what is the answer? Is the cat still around? Cat still around, okay? Let's say it determines the cat is not around, so the environment is safe enough, then the next question will come in to say, am I safe enough to come back to life? Okay? Is my head still attached to my body? Okay, something like that. Am I safe enough to come back to life? When these two conditions are all met positively, okay, the next basically three sequences will happen. One is the breathing, violent breathing. Okay, so it's a reactive, and the head will actually go like this, reactivate the vagus nerve. Okay, and then there's a severe shaking of the entire spine to redistribute the energy that goes into the spine, goes back to all the limbs. Everywhere it needs to go back. Okay, so you see the mouse take a few steps, wobbly, then it seems normal. Okay, so this is how we get into a pause and get out of pause. In human, we can actually get into a pause state voluntarily. We can look into the mirror and say, you know what? The world is too painful. I don't want to feel any pain anymore. Boom, we actually go into that state. People like that are very, very powerful. Okay? Because all their channels, so more technical thing is they are in this pause. Okay, let's say I'm the mouse, okay, and I'm in this mode, and the cat is actually going after my baby. Okay, at that time the mouse is going to actually become a mighty mouse. Okay, and it's going to start to attack the cat, right? But not using fluid, intricate motions, but more like an axe or a hex. Right? Everything is like this. Okay, there's absolutely no control, but there's a lot of force behind it, because then the behavior is actually driven by not dopamine, but what they call norepinephrine, right? So you override, right? So the movement becomes just large, big movement, right? There's no intricate movement anymore. Okay? Nothing is fluid. Do we see this in certain patients? Parkinson. That's Parkinson. Parkinson is not a lack of dopamine in the brain. There are plenty of dopamine in the brain, but they cannot use it because the place that use dopamine to generate fluid motion is in the midbrain. When the person is in pause, and like a mouse, right? And it has to save its baby, it's using norepinephrine. So dopamine, no matter how much dopamine you have in the brain, it doesn't matter. It's not going to use it because the person is still in pause. Okay. They did this autopsy too many times to detect, say, there's plenty of dopamine. But they say there's degenerated brain parts and right? And it's because it's not being used. Okay, so it's the same thing as What's the thing that people take for sleep?
Melatonin?
Yeah, melatonin. Thank you. So, yeah, see, she's still in school. Remember everything. So people who use melatonin, like my mom, 30 years, part of that brain doesn't work because there's no need to work, right? So any part of our system, okay, I have an aunt, she was in a coma for like 30 years. I went to see her, I see her right hand with 5 fingers. Her left hand basically have these knobs. These fingers were dissolved, reused by the body. Isn't that interesting?
What?
Yeah, completely gone. Seriously. Okay. And my friend, one of my friends told me like her mom had full arthritis. Okay, all these are like, just thick. And she lay there for maybe 18 months or something like that because of a heart attack. Okay, her hands were like a 16-year-old. The body takes away things that's not needed anymore. The body always will. So that's why when we put on the cast, right? 2 weeks later, where did all the muscle go? Right? You have this huge difference between 2 legs. Right? Body takes away things that's not being used. Conversely, body rebuilds what's being used. Okay? So we can use that. Okay? So here's the plasma, right? So human, because we can control. So my teacher, Dr. Janice Hadlock, I actually read her book prior to going to Chinese medicine school because that's the only book I was like, oh my God, this makes sense. Okay, I can rewrite Chinese, but all the Chinese medicine text to me is like, okay, you tell me what to do. What if it doesn't work? What's the mechanism behind this? Why are we doing what we're doing? Right? Nobody explained this to me. Until I read that book, it said, channel our rivers, and you can feel this, and I was like, oh, I gotta try this, right? So that's why I started Chinese medicine school. Okay. So in Posmo, because we're human, and there are four ways to get into this thing. Okay, one is we essentially talk to us and say, I don't want to feel the pain in this world anymore. Okay, I suffer enough abuse. So later in life, okay, so Dr. JJ she actually developed Parkinson as well because she was heavily abused as a child, and she remembered vividly when she was a teenager, 17 or whatever, right, in the bathroom, look into the mirror and say, I don't want to feel this pain anymore. Parkinson is actually one of the highest Parkinson trait is actually control. They are super good at control, so they can control their entire body to feel no pain. I actually had a Parkinson patient, and he's like a triathlete, so. And later I found like a lot of the runners, they're actually very good at controlling. Instead of, it's not like they have, tremendous, it's like, and they know their control. Okay? So their will is so strong, so their Parkinson, the Parkinson patients, especially the ones they basically will themselves into Posmo, okay? They're extremely successful in whatever they do. They're very, very successful. Okay? They can be leaders in religions, okay? Especially religions or academics, right? Because they need to hang on to some beliefs, and they cannot violate that at all. Very little flexibility. Okay? Interesting, right? So that's Posmo, okay? So in human, we can actually subdivide this whole thing. Okay, so part of us can be impulse. Okay, for example, breast cancer, part of the arm. Okay, like everything else is awakened, but this part is still. I just can't. I have no fine control. I have no fine motor control of this arm. But everything else is fine. Okay, so part of our body can be impulse. Part of the brain can be impulse. for example, due to concussion, can be impossible. Okay, so the way we resolve this in the clinic, again, this is information for the time being. Okay, if we really, I know this information for 2 years before I was able to do it because I need to cultivate myself. Okay, these are, we need to be able to connect the person's protocol. We need to do a lot of things in order to be able to do this very, very simple thing. Okay, so if you cannot do it right now, great. Okay. If you can do it in 3 months, why other people are so fast? Okay, I literally took 2 years to be able to feel comfortable enough to do this. Okay, but so the way to get out of pause is to have a person lay on the table, ideally connect to loving kindness, okay, connect to the event, okay, and then we're going to scan the body. Okay, the way we do this first, this is not a protocol. Okay, is to say, okay, can you focus on the tip of your nose and make it bright and make it dark? Now, which way is easier? For you, each person is different. For some people, it's easy, right? Because I never had a face trauma. For you, it may be very, very hard. It may be very, very difficult for you to even imagine the tip of my nose. Very, very difficult because you have trauma. Okay, so if I can imagine, let's say my tip of the tip of my nose is actually, I can easily imagine bright. Okay, it's easier to imagine being bright than dark. That means I have good association with my nose. It simply means that. Okay, so the light and dark can be felt in many different ways. Okay, it can be a sense of no issue or very, very uncomfortable or pain or unsafe or anything like that. Okay, so people describe this in different ways. Then we can actually go into, for example, a shoulder. Okay, a breast cancer location. Okay, after 2-3 years or even more. Okay, we can go into the brain. Okay, because we were abused or hit or whatever, right? Or concussion, right? If it's due to pulse, okay, that location will appear dark, very easily, or dark or void, okay? And then we ask the person to truly, truly focus on that and make it as small as possible, almost like the tip of a pencil, okay? And say, is it just pure darkness, or is it vibrating? Okay, there's agitation, or the light kind of comes on and off, or something like that. Okay, if the person says it's not constant, okay, it doesn't look like I'm looking into a dark cave where there's nothing but darkness. You just feel like there's something in here, or have this very uneasy feeling about it, or it changes color. Dark and then a bit blue or something like that. Okay, so it changes. Okay, so then the next question we ask is actually ridiculous. Okay, it's like, okay, can you please focus on this and tell me and answer this question: is this thing going to kill you in the next 2 to 3 minutes? You think this is the most ridiculous question in the world, right? A lot of people cannot answer that question. Say, I guess not. Right. So then we'll continue to ask that question. Is this thing going to kill you? This agitation you're feeling right now, it's going to kill you in the next 2 to 3 minutes. Right. We keep asking until this person says, man, you're crazy. Of course I'm not going to die in the next 2 to 3 minutes because of this thing. And then we say, okay, can you please take a look at this again? Is it easier to imagine being bright or dark? So we say, ooh, wow, it changed. Then we get the person to scan other area of the body if necessary, right? And eventually go ask this person to breathe ever so deeply. Right? And then do the, left and right. So there's a reason why Indian people, right, when they say yes, of course. No, ask them, is it no or yeah, yes, this is their yes. Okay? And they look absolutely happy. Okay? turn on the vagus nerve. And then do this shaking, okay, from top to bottom. For a lot of people, it's very, very difficult because when we're in pause, the entire spine doesn't move. Okay. So that's pause, okay? And then there's dissociation, okay? So pause, we see it in traumatized people, okay? People who have accidents, okay? So I have people that, somebody actually told me when I was doing this online, this is a lady in Taiwan. She said she crossed the street and was hit by a car, and she instantaneously got out of her body. Actually, looked at this person and said, "Oh my gosh, you're not very decent," because she was wearing skirts. Okay, and people are, yeah. And then chaos, right? And ambulance was called. She was sent to the hospital, right? And she was actually following this whole thing. She was in the ER, and they, this heart, whatever medicine, right, to pump her blood pressure and the heart rate again. Because people in that mode, the blood pressure and the heart rate is probably, right, to save life. Because if I'm a mouse and one of my arteries hit, right, and my blood pressure is high, and this is going out like a fire hydrant. Right? Yeah. So, and she said she didn't go back to her body and feel pain until that medicine was provided. Very interesting. Right? So when people feel spacey and out of their body and they can astral travel and stuff like that, okay. Yes, it's because of dissociation. Yeah, a lot of people are scared because they don't feel safe, because one of the things is like, will I be able to go back to my body? Okay. So I honestly have seen people that say, you know what, I go meditation and they say I'm very, very high level meditator because I can travel and stuff like that, right? I said, no, you're not a very high level meditator. Right? Your channel doesn't go down to your toes properly. Okay. A lot of times you're not in your body, you don't feel safe in your body. So again, it's a gift, but at the same time, at the point of what's happening, it's necessary. Okay? Can you imagine a child being abused for years and years? They need to be out of their body when it's happening. Absolutely, to save your life. Right? But after years and years, if that continues, right, that becomes a condition. Right? So all these channel modes have its place. Right? If I'm a mouse and I get caught, right, and I go into the pause, when the cat is not around, I better get out of this thing. And animals have no issue getting out of it. We have. We have. Right? So dissociation is like, I'm walking down a hill and I sprain my ankle. It's getting dark, it's getting cold, and I can hear the howling of the wolves. Okay? I gotta dissociate myself from this ankle injury. That's tremendously pain and everything else. I need to go down the hill, right? Get to safety, right? Let's say I do, and then I need to turn this back on so I can feel everything for this ankle to heal. I bet you've seen, as a massage therapist, lots of ankles are like this. They don't look right. Why? Because it's never healed. Okay? I have marathon runners, and she's probably in Boston. Chicago, I wouldn't be surprised, because she runs several marathons out of the state. She's in California, multiple times a year. Okay? I was working on her ankles, and I said, these are not right. So we use the same mechanism. Okay, so it's like, okay, imagine, okay, your ankles being bright and being dark. Okay, is it easier to be bright or dark? She said, oh, dark. I said, can you make it as dark as you can? Right? She said, oh, yeah, it's super dark. Does it move? Does it vibrate? Does it do anything? I said, no, just pure darkness. she has huge dissociation from her basically ankles. And then I asked her, can you tell where your ankles are? She's like, I think it's in Boston. That's the level of dissociation. Isn't that interesting? Very interesting. You know, ask, and you know, it's like, wow, okay. Sometimes it's just so ridiculous. It's like, are you just kidding me? But it's really very big. Okay? So when people dissociate, that's when they have a lot of pain. So keep this in mind. Okay. So too many times people will say, you know, after that treatment, I have such sharp pain. What's going on? Okay, you reassociate. You're going through the actual healing process. Okay? And you can't stop from crying. Congratulations. Because you're literally is not controlling yourself, and you're literally allowing the healing to take place.
I'd like to hear you say that, because I often don't agree with pain medication.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a knee replacement. And when that whole coming out of the body, not being there, coming back later,
Yes.
they said, oh, you were out for 8 hours in recovery because we couldn't bring you back.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember being there
Yeah.
and having a conversation that whoever's in control, if y'all don't get this thing right here, I don't have to go back. So when you say, am I going to be safe when I go back? Am I going to be, what's going to be different that I can go back? I literally had that conversation with whoever those little spiritual people are. If you don't get that right, I'm not going back.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were going to help me. You said you were going to do this, and right now, pardon my French, all that shit is fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going back. And they were like, yes, you are.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came back, it was that coming through the lights and hyperventilating when I got here, looking around like, where am I? What time is it?
Right.
Just completely.
Yeah.
But the day after the surgery, I asked them, I said, can you all take that drip? No, you just had this major, do you know what happened to you? I said, apparently not, on the level that you have, but I know I don't need that. Morphine. So when you said we can compartmentalize the control,
Yeah.
now I understand, why that was, because I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
And I wasn't wrong.
Right. So this is how it works. Okay. It's almost like we have a Google map of every part of our body. Every part. Okay. Dissociation is like you basically remove that map, and all you see is dark. Okay. In the early days of Google Map, you actually can find dark spots. So it's the same thing. Our body cannot fix things that's dark. That's not associated. Okay. And when it's reassociated and we're going through the so-called healing process because it's something truly broken that we can really heal, right? Pain will be associated. Pain is a definite. Pain and pain, when we embrace the pain and knowing it's a process, okay, pain changes. Pain is just a message. Pain is a message. Okay, so that's essentially two of the last channel modes. Okay, pause and dissociation. So for pause mode, what we do, for dissociation, what we do is the same process, but it's not flickering, right? It's not agitating and right? So all we do is we connect to loving kindness and bring, like a laser light that's so bright, so warm, so loving into the part, for example, your knee, right? And just stay there and just count 1 to 10. Just do something like that until it changes. Okay? that's reassociation because you literally brighten that out. You're paying all the attention to that one part of your body, right? And we do this on cancers. We do this on sexual assault. We do this on anything: knee replacement, hip replacement. The sense of heartbreaking, divorce, the sense of abandonment. We all experience because it's so painful that we need to dissociate from it. And when we dissociate, we feel like we don't even have a heart. Because we don't want to feel it. Then it potentially goes a lot of the adverse behaviors, addictions and outbursts and stuff like that. Okay, so that's the channel mode. Okay. So before we get into Tui Na, okay, I want to mention, this is Tui Na is just an act, right? But how we carry ourselves, to me, is very, very critical. Okay. So the first thing we do is to stand correct, okay? Or stand in the most optimal state that we can. Okay. So if we stand and we feel both feet, and we even the weight distribution, okay, and we literally unlock our knees, and our body weight actually goes behind our knee instead of in front. Too many of us have knee issue because the body weight is in front of the knee, it's right at the knee. Okay, so if we can do that, our knees are actually soft. Okay, if I press somebody in this position, I can press super hard, and all you feel is all my pressure goes all the way to the ground. It doesn't go to your knee. Okay? This is critical for us. Right? And then the way to unlock the knees, because when the knees are locked, our ankles are locked, our hips are locked. And when we walk, all the pressure goes to the knee. And the knees are actually very, very strong until we start to feel pain. Then it's difficult. But it is still reversible. Okay. I was 50 when I was 50 years old, I couldn't go up and down stairs. Okay. And when I started to change my posture, I changed how I stand, how I do everything, right? I remove the pressure from this locking, right? And it actually get better. I'm 64 this year, and I have no issue with my knees. So to me, it's doable, okay? And it's the same with arthritis. It's the same with bunions. I mean, it's all position. It's all how we carry our weight. Yes.
I apologize. I was going to ask if the structure, I understand the concept, because I do that too. I have to readjust. However, if the structure is damaged, then is it still a possibility?
What kind of structure?
The ACL.
Mm-hmm. Or MCL or something like that.
Most of my multiple ACL tear and Baker's cyst, which I think is a form of protection, and maybe a little bit of IT band support protection, and the tunnel degeneration.
Right.
But for whatever reason, my spirit is not leading me to get another knee replacement. I keep hearing you can heal that
Okay. So
without this.
So from a support standpoint, okay. So you have knee pain. So all your surrounding structure, because you said there's a structural issue, right? So there's a potential it's out of alignment or
It's
a little
definitely out of
right
alignment.
out of alignment, right? When any joint is out of alignment, all the surrounding tissues and muscles, right, ligaments and whatnot, right, tendons and muscles, they all bunch together, create essentially a cast, right? So the way we do this in the clinic is to say, okay, we honor this cast, and we're going to convince this cast it's safe enough for us to heal now, for the structure to be realigned. okay? And when they soften, boom, the structure can go back properly. And then it's the time for strengthening. However, whatever that means, right? So that's kind of the approach we do. And we're gonna, that's what I want to share today. That's basically what we did yesterday. Right? So it's exactly the same mechanism. Okay, so the knee, right? So when the knee is soft, we have a bucket. Okay, that is proper. Okay, so the bucket starts from rim 1 through the pelvis all the way up to here. Okay, and then our rib cage, our shoulders, our head just sits, in the most relaxed fashion, right, on the bucket. If I lean my bucket, this is tight. My shoulder is tight. Okay, and water is coming out. This is not a good bucket. If I lock my knees, right, I feel super tight on the back, and this actually has no tension. So we want a bucket that has proper tension all around. Okay, and to me, when we squeeze our buttock or we tilt our pelvis ever so slightly, we unlock the knee, right? So the knee is soft. We're not bending down, right? It's not locked. Okay, and then we react. Okay, this is super important for a lot of things. I mean, I've seen people hurt. It's because of this. Okay? This is default posture for so many people, right? So when they walk, when they run, when they do any exercise, very quickly they injure themselves because all the pressure comes here, right? And you turn, boom, it's a clutch. It comes. Right? Like if your knees are soft, you turn, there's no issue. Right? So this is a habit. This can be resolved. Right? So every time we like Crystal was saying, right? She was washing her hands. She was doing the eye level. She was doing this. She was softening her knees. She was doing a little bit of wiggle, right? That's how we do it, right? And on top of this, if we say I have a purpose, I connect to loving kindness, all the channels are actually supporting this entire structure as well. So that's what we do when we do twin. Okay? And through loving kindness, we connect to another person's heart of gold, not the symptoms, not the signs. Okay? Very, very important. Okay? So we connect to loving kindness, we connect to the heart of gold, right? And all we do is actually hold. Okay? So if you're on the table and all I do is I'm going to hold your knee. Okay? And your knee is going to do something. Your knee is going to, essentially I'm going to hold with the intention for your knee to resolve itself. Okay? And all I do is listen. And during that time, I maintain my bucket, right? I maintain my connection, right? So I am very, very stable. If I lean myself and hold you, you're never going to feel safe because I don't feel safe, right? But if my body is here and I'm holding you and I'm relaxed, right? I'm actively communicating to your body to say, whenever you're ready, you make a decision. So what we're doing is we're providing a stimulus to the body for the body to process itself. It's very similar for you to ask your client to say, put a hand on me and tell me what's going on. It's the same thing. Then you put a hand or they put a hand on you provides a stimulus. Okay? A physical connection. Okay? So all we're doing is listen. Right? So if I'm holding your knee and your knees do something, your knee give me a little bit more space, I'm going to take that space. I will continue to remain at your boundary, and whatever boundary you expand, I'm going to take that boundary. I'm going to take that space. What it means is we're communicating at a physical level. Okay? So people who have injury, their body doesn't trust, which is, of course, right? Until they are given a stimulus, and after a while they say, I think we're fine. I think this person is okay. The person is not going to hurt us, right? So that is the key. So the sense of listen and wait, how long? Who knows? And it's an active communication. it looks like nothing is happening, tons of things are happening. Everything in the subconscious is doing. There's a lot of processing going on. Okay? And essentially we're, allow the other person, empowering the other person to resolve this thing. Okay? And ultimately it's a sense of we're safe now. The cat is gone. Okay? And we are okay. We can heal now. Okay? So that's essentially, and when we're on the table, I'm gonna, stress that again. All right. So when we're Tuina, in my opinion, Tuina is almost like, the term is massage, right? But in Chinese we call it Tuina. Okay? Tui just means push. Okay? Na just means, kind of pull and draw back. So Tuina are always at the same time. Okay? It's not like I tui and I do a na. Okay? Tuina are always done at the same time. Why? If I'm holding a hand or a leg or whatever, right? Where's the power coming from? The power comes from the twisting of my growing area. Okay? Why? Because I want to maintain my bucket. I don't want to twist over here because I am literally twisting my bucket. Right? I want to move my entire bucket. And when I do, one hand extends, one hand draws back. That's your tui and na. So if we do this properly, right, it's a cultivation. This is a martial art. You go Tai Chi, you go Wing Chun, you go anything, you go boxing, it's all from here. Right? And people can play golf from here, then they're not going to waste their hip. Because turning from here adds so much pressure to this hip joint right here. And your legs is not moving, so this joint, this powerful joint, is taking all the hit all the time. So it's a cultivation to connect, right? Because we're connecting to loving kindness and right? Our balance and power, right? We have to be stable because if I'm not balanced and I'm doing this and I'm holding somebody, right? I have to use muscle here. I have to use a lot of extra muscle and my tension, and the person is going to feel it. I've done so many times, like I was holding you, right? And I just move myself like 1 inch away, and you feel the difference. Right? These are the physical body communication. You cannot lie about this. And then we fully activate our sense of intuition, right? Because we have sensitivity, like you said. These are a combination, right? So we're literally, and I'm not trying to use your word, but this is when we actually use our tactile sensation, sensitivity, because we are relaxed, right? So we can sense how the other person is responding, right, and everything else. But from an intuition standpoint, you're gonna feel, that person changes at the same time. A lot of times when we do this, right, we hear like from the stomach, okay? Because the person changes from highly, a sympathetic protective state, which digestion and everything else is not allowed, to rest and heal, which is everything works. Okay? So so in the clinic, because I have an open clinic, okay, it's not one to one, right, 1-to-1. We say, oh, the most beautiful music comes on again.
Oh, yeah.
So what we want to do, Tuina, is actually to provide a stimulus to the edge. Okay? So we honor that boundary, right? But you're going to feel like, yeah, I think that's there. Yeah, right there. Okay? Don't go over. Because going over, we're expecting. We're pushing the person to do something that the person may or may not be ready to do. So we wait. Right? And we wait and we wait. Okay, this is a cultivation, and we will, I guarantee you, we'll get it. Some people are faster, some people are slower, but as long as we're on that journey, we're fine. So it's a sense of empowerment rather than expectation, or I'm doing something for the other person, I am helping, or the whole 9 yards. Okay? And then lastly is mutual. because we're mindful of our balance, you know, where our power comes from, how do I feel, and everything else, right? We're going to be, it's mutual healing. Okay? This is not just we sacrifice our body and soul for the benefit of another person. Any questions? Cool.
Like you can do keep hold to your back while you're sitting.
Yes. Yeah, beautiful. See, now you, yeah, absolutely. So I actually hold my bucket all the time. Because I don't want to leak my water. Okay? So to the point I walk with my bucket level. I actually move my bucket and my feet follow. It's not like my feet goes, then my bucket goes. Okay? So this is a feeling that you are actually literally walking on a train. So the martial arts study, there's no movement like this. Okay? There's no such movement. Right? Everything we do is like this. If I want to move, I move. I move my entire body. So that's why I say Tuina is my life. Okay? Because every time I do this, I'm actually practicing martial art. So it looks like I'm doing something, you know. So in the old Chinese days, right? Martial artists, doctors are in the earliest days. The so-called doctors are actually martial artists. They can break people. They can also put people back together. Okay. Any other comments or any other comments? We're good? Okay, all right. So, you want to get on the table? Sure. Okay. Do you mind me filming? No? Okay. So when we do Tuina, the first thing is the table. Okay, the table height is very, very important. Acupuncturists in general have higher tables, right? Imagine I am trying to needle her like here. Okay, what I have to do is this, right? But if the table height is this and she's right here, then I can do this, right? But for Tuina, what I prefer, this is actually a really good height for me, is from my groin area about 1 fist away. Why? Because I can easily put my leg up. Okay? So, because I want to get in. Okay? I want to get in as close as possible. When I trap her knee like this, I can actually traction her entire body. Okay? So when I, for example, I'm going to hold your knee later, I will. I'm just going to hold it like this. Just like this. Yeah, just like this, okay? And when I work on my knee, all I'm gonna do is say, for example, this muscle right here, for example, I'm just gonna hold, which is quay, which is push, right, and pull at the same time. Then I'm actually actively working on that muscle. Okay, this muscle right here. If I want to work on a hamstring, I can do this and actually do this. Okay? This is, okay? Do you need strength and power? No. So it's easy as this, okay? So when the person lay down, the feet is gonna go straight out, okay? The angle is actually very, very important. Her angle is actually really, really good, okay? The length of the legs are actually very, very important. Okay? If one is longer than the other, normally it doesn't mean this person was born that way. It just means the body, part of is tight, the other part is not. Okay? Also the angle that the toe or this points down or up is very, very important. Okay? If it goes really, really flat like this, okay, very tight, calf muscles, what we call the UB channel, bladder channel. Okay? If it goes like this, okay, very, very tight, or even backflow of stomach channel. Okay? Hers, all good. Okay? This one goes out a little bit more. Okay? So potentially the pelvic area right here may be tighter, so it kind of pulls the body this, or IT bends a little bit higher. Okay? Or this is how you stand on one side. Okay? So when we start to be more mindful and say, okay, I want to be even. So this is where symmetry comes in. Okay? When we're non-symmetrical, things actually takes a hit. Okay? So let's say if she has an injury, she doesn't have an injury, then we can start work on it. Right? But let's say she has an injury, then what I'll do is I will actually go to the other side of the injury. For example, if she's injured on one side, I will actually go to the other side first. Okay? Why? Because I want to communicate to the body first. I don't want to just go straight to, oh, that's where your pain is? Okay, let's do this. Right? She's going to cut the wrong place. Okay? So another thing we can look is actually the angle between her, how do you call this thing? Okay, the IT band, right, to the outside of the calf. Okay, so her angle right now, this is a bigger angle than the other. Okay, so what it means? So she may have sprained this ankle. So her knee, when she walks, this actually takes a different weight. Right? So you may have more pain on the inside of right here. Okay, right. See, all these are structure. Okay? So when you start to pay attention to how you stand, how you walk, and everything else, right? All these structure can change. Our body always oblige. Okay? Whatever condition you are in, the body is going to support you. So if we use it long enough, right, things will start to happen. For example, bunions, right? Bunions is the big toe kind of goes sideways, right? And why? Most of the reason is because when we walk, okay, when we walk, we're 1 foot in front, 1 foot in the back. Okay? People who have bunions, the way they walk is they walk with a more angle here. So when their back foot leaves the ground, their big toe, the base of their big toe leaves the ground last. Okay? So all the body weight is there, and then they go to the front, right? And then all the body weight is there, and guess what? You put more body weight on that, the joint's gonna grow bigger and stronger, and it pushes the big toe, out. Okay. How I learned this is actually a personal experience. Okay, my mom had 2 extreme bunions. Okay, she went to Kaiser. This is probably 30, 40 years ago. Okay, and the Kaiser said, "Oh, we're gonna have surgeries on both, but we can only do one at a time." Okay, so she did the right side. Okay, and it was a complete disaster. Okay, her big toe right now is like the big toe is like 90 degrees going this way. She lost her nerves and everything else. Okay, so but guess what? They completely fixed the one on the other side. If you look at my mom's left, foot right now, there's absolutely no bunion. Absolutely no bunion.
Because if it happened on the other side, the other one doesn't act right.
What?
The other one doesn't act
Act
right.
right.
The other one doesn't act right.
Yeah. If you don't listen, if you don't change, if you don't change, you're gonna get cut off.
You're not doing this again.
So what really happened is because of the right foot issue, she changed how she walks. Right? She needs more support on the left. So when we walk, right, if we can be mindful, the base of the toe and the base of the little toe, right, the big toe and the little toe, they leave the ground at the same time. Right? Then we're actually actively resolving bunion issues.
Because So nice.
Yeah. The fear factor may be true, but anyway. So for you, okay, so the ankle may need to get resolved, okay? Because there, I can feel there's a sharper ankle. You want to come over? Okay. Yeah. So this foot doesn't feel the same as this. Okay. So these toes are more pointing up. See if you can feel it. Okay. There's a little bit more resistance when you go bend down, right? The other way.
The other this way.
No, the other way. Right? Then,
It's tighter.
right? Tighter, right?
On the way down.
Yeah, yeah. So that means this calf will be tighter because all these tendons pulling is actually coming from here. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't look at tongues and pulse. I look at toes and ankles.
Interesting.
Because you can't lie on this thing, okay? Yeah. Yeah. Okay? And then, so for her, okay, so her channels right now don't, doesn't really go as well. Okay? You want people to feel your channel?
Sure.
Okay. Anybody want to feel channel?
Get the next channel.
Okay, so let me describe this. Okay, let me describe this first. Okay, to scan the channel, okay, we need to use essentially this point right here in the middle of our palm. Okay, this is pericardium 8. So this point connects directly to our pericardium channel. Okay, we're literally feeling this from our heart. Okay, it's not like okay, we need to bring this energy through here, and then feel this. No. Okay. We're gonna, so this hand actually goes down, okay, like a falling leaf, okay, until we feel we're very, very close to the river, okay?
Yes.
And then if the current moves, the current moves, right? Otherwise, if it doesn't move, we don't move. Okay? Right now, to me, it doesn't move a lot, okay? So if you can say, I have a purpose, close your eyes, I have a purpose. So now it moves. Feel this, okay? It's very, very interesting. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna feel one way, basically from her shirt right here. There's an X right here, and then you're gonna move back. No, you start from the bottom, go up, okay? Once you reach that point, and you go back. Okay, see if you can feel the sensation from going up to going back. Okay? And you never look at your hands because your eyes are level. Okay? Use your peripheral vision to know where your hand is. Okay? And you just follow. I'm just going to scan the ring channel after she's done.
Very simple. Very
Feel-
simple.
Yeah, do you feel the same up and down? Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, you're gonna go from here
Here.
to here. Keep going down. Okay, you have a purpose. You're gonna go the other way.
Does it move at different rates at different times? It's very interesting. Thank you.
Beautiful. You're good, right?
That's my all day every day.
This is your all day, every day.
What?
I do it all day.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, beautiful. Okay? So all of you guys do this beautiful. Okay, you're following the channel and you're not pushing her channel. Okay? You don't have a whole lot of expectation of what this needs to be. Okay? And all you feel the difference between going up and going down, right? Okay? Then you're feeling channels. Because this channel is supposed to go up. When it goes up, you feel like you're being pushed.
Yes.
You're floating on the river, right?
Yes.
When it goes down, you feel like,
Yeah. Yeah, like I have to.
yeah, it's
I
a
have
bump.
to- Yes.
Very, very bump.
Yeah.
See, that's the beauty of channels. We can truly feel it, and we will get a very, very high percentage of saying, yeah, that's how I feel. But if you're reading her pulse, okay, 4 people reading her pulse, you're going to get 4 different results. Because we are going to affect her pulse.
Yes.
Okay? So it's very, very important.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So it's very, very, especially when we look at our hands, when we look at our fingers, it's like, what is supposed to be? We're Googling at the same time, okay? It doesn't work. So,
Yes.
so this is the key, okay? When we maintain our bucket, right, because our eyes level, and we are comfortable, our hands is a receiver. When we are not comfortable, when we look at our hands are actually a transmitter. Because we want to grab something to hold. Okay? Then we have no sensation. And she will actually feel like, wow, what's going on? Okay? I've done this quite a few times. Okay, I will put my hand on somebody, a distance away, and I say, okay, I'm not looking at you. Let me know when I'm looking at my hands, and then when I do, oh, okay, you can actually feel it, and you don't want it. So that's why, honestly, there's this thing called medical qigong. I do not. It's honestly, it doesn't work because Reiki is the same thing. Okay? It sounds like, oh, it's the beautiful thing, right? Universal energy channel through me to another person. Nobody's a pure channel. Okay?
That's what I say all the time.
And channel goes both directions, right? At the same time, simultaneously, right? So using this, and we're connecting through loving kindness to this person, right? And we're not projecting energy. Nobody gets hurt. And we receive all the information. We're actually transmitting the sense of we're actually communicating the sense of safety. I respect your boundary, right? And right? And to me, that's so important, right? Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So that's this, right? Then we can start working on people. Okay. So my sort of like, when we first start, I'm going to repeat basically what we did. Okay, so I will actually come up. Okay, basically put my hand here, right? And I will actually move back a little bit. So I will actually sort of catch her heel. So her heel has a little bit of hook here, right? So I'm actually going to hook it and move my leg ever so slightly. So she will actually feel I'm actually traction your leg ever so slightly, right? So she actually feel 2 things. One is the traction this direction, and then another is the elevation in this direction, right? This means expansion. Expand this way, expand that way, okay? Then I can go to the toes, okay? So she has her second toe that's longer than the big toe. People like that in general are nervous, okay? Why? Because from a very young age, you have to somehow squish the second toe inside of your shoes, and you're not comfortable. Okay?
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? Okay? And you're not comfortable.
That is a mind blower.
Okay? And I've treated quite a few people like that, and it's like they are anxious, and anxious is actually a beautiful quality because they pay attention to so exactly, right? And that comes from a sense of anxiety. Why? Because your toe is being like this.
Oh my gosh.
When you're doing this, your stomach channel is actually not optimal. Isn't that interesting? Right?
So from a dancer's point of view,
It's very difficult.
toe shoes are.
Yeah. So if your toe, especially the second toe, okay, so her second toe is definitely bigger than her big toe, but if you just do this right here, you will not know, right? Because over time, it's a constant traction on that joint. This joint actually does not flatten out very well. If I truly want to flatten it out, it's very, very painful. Isn't that interesting? Okay. So for people with this condition, okay, the joints, okay, the second toe to the first toe or the second toe to the third toe, there's tension in between. Okay, like right here. Right? So this will actually impede your liver channel flow. Okay. So there's a lot of just from one toe, right? Interesting, right? So isn't that good information?
Yes.
Right? Beautiful, right? So congratulations, you have this condition because there are lots of people like this. Okay? So look at the toe, feel like toe, there's grabbing, there's this thing, or the toes are not arranged properly or anything like that. It indicates something. A lot of times it's emotional. We're trying to suppress something, or trying to pay attention the best we can to know what everybody is expecting. You know, what can I do here? You know, how can I contribute? You know, da. All these are beautiful qualities until we are consumed by it.
I think I have that.
Don't do that.
Yes.
Me too. Don't do that. Me too.
This is the longest.
Yeah.
But what you saying is very true because I just look at my childhood picture, me, my brother, and my sister would like that. Maybe I still have the picture, but I look very nervous, And I still have that when now I find myself in this place, like we say, I feel like what I have to do is people, I really, even I was keep recording our language, he just give me, don't worry, you're fine. When we were playing football, like, I used to think always people come to me and they just say, let the ball go, and I let the ball, they take the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the plus side, okay, everything is, I'm not saying this is bad, okay,
Yeah.
but you see, you have sensitivity that very few people have because of this. See, now you honor your toes,
Exactly.
right? It's very interesting. Okay, there's trauma, nobody wants trauma, but do you know how many attributes trauma brings? It's incredible.
And we are not taught to review trauma
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. When you see how trauma makes a person so empathetic, so sensitive, right? So keen to the environment, right? Resilience, right? They continue to do a lot of things, right? I mean, it's incredible. So we all see the suffering side of things, right? But it's a gift, right? It has its purpose, right? And we don't want it. It's like the worst piece of puzzle piece, right? It's like, damn it, like we get it, right? We keep getting it. And the universe will not stop giving it to us, right? Until we say, all right, put in my heart. Right? Eventually we see, oh my gosh, that's a key piece to complete my life's puzzle. And we laugh, it's like, and I've been trying to throw it away. And it finds a way to come back to me. Okay? Okay? Alright. So from the toe, isn't that interesting? From this, it's like, do you really know me? The first time we met? Isn't that interesting? Right? So from this, we, a little bit more sensitivity, a little bit more discomfort, a little bit more this and a little bit more that, over time becomes sort of like a personality. Right? But to me, that's may or may not be your true nature. Right? Your true nature is to be comfortable, but you start to use these attributes to your to serve. Okay. So all her toes essentially is more up, okay, rather than flat. Okay. So her way of doing this is actually to do this. So everybody's different. Some people grabbing the toes, some people elevate the toes, and all night yard. Isn't that fun? Okay. In this position, if I want to work on her calf, okay, she's actually here. It's more tight. Okay? But anyway, if I want to work on the calf, what I gotta do is to roll this. So I'm using her body weight. I'm using gravity. Okay? So if somebody is heavier, do you have an issue with this? Okay? All you gotta do is to grab part of the body. It's not like, oh my gosh, I gotta grab the entire person. No, do one part at a time. Divide and conquer. So you just do this, and you do it very, very slowly, right, or deeply, however you want, however you feel. And what we're doing is to provide a lot of stimulus and a lot of time for her body to resolve it, to figure out what's going on, what to do, and anything in between. Okay? Because when a person is more sensitive and trying to meet expectation, it's hard for that person to relax. It's like, okay, you're propping my foot up. I want to help you.
Right.
It will actually just do this. Once the body figure out, oh, that's where you want me to go, it will actually go up by itself. Okay? So what you want to do is to be very, very gentle. Allow her to feel the rhythm, and at the same time, see, she wants to come back. Okay? She's like, oh, it's time to come back. Okay, I'm coming back. Okay. Isn't that cool? So sometimes it's like, when can I get a break? No, it's your body doesn't want a break. Your body always expects to do something. Interesting, right? Yeah. So these are beautiful attributes. At the same time, it's okay. So what we do is we just keep connecting to her. And this part is very, very tight. Okay, so yours is probably tight. So from here to here, there's a tendon and there's muscles attached to it. So what I do is I press, and then I open up the knee. They all look very, very subtle. Okay? Very, very little, right? But what I do is by pressing here, you feel it? Okay. By pressing here, I'm actually tension the muscle. So when the muscle is tensioned, and we apply a little bit of whatever, right? There's an effect. That's the stimulus. If I don't do what I just did, and I continue to sort of massage that muscle, to me it's very, very different. Right? Rather than say, okay, we're gonna expand if you so choose. We allow the body to choose. This is my intention. It's your choice. Right? The body's choice, not your choice. The body needs to resolve. And when the body does, I take a little bit more. And inside, I would say, thank you for trusting me. Isn't that cool? There's a lot of gratitude out there. When you feel a body that's tight, right, not trusting or protective, and all of a sudden it goes differently, unreal. It's like we're being accepted. We're welcome. Right? Yeah. Yeah. And this can be highly emotional, okay? Because it's a sense that I don't need to monitor or control or be vigilant of everything. A few times I did this, and the person would go, John, I love you. Because it sends that sense of unconditional. It's like you are fully empowered. Right?
I had a massage therapist once. After every massage, I would look at him and go, "Looks very nice."
That's right.
Did I go over the edge?
Yes. You come online. Went to the next counter. You did. On the next stage. They're all over.
So knee is a big thing, okay? Knee joint, okay? Knee joint protection, right? So from here we can open up the hip joint as well. So just by trapping this, right, we can open up the hip joint.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not, I'm comfortable. So here's the power of the table. Okay, so when the table height is correct, right, and we're doing this one step at a time, right, with the same intention. We're basically repeating the same process. It's the exact same approach. Okay, there's no difference from any part that I'm working. I'm doing exactly the same. Okay? And when this hip is open up a little bit more, right, we can move this leg kind of to the midline. The ankle is actually at the midline. So this can cross
Oh, okay.
like
Yeah.
this. And then all we gotta do is to push this out ever so slightly. And that's it. Yes. Yeah. And depending on her situation, her IT band is tight, so the glute area is tight, right? But because with tension, all we gotta do is to apply very, very little pressure
Yeah.
for her to process. So we can do this with our knee. If I want to, I can sit down, right, with my leg very close to her glute, and this hand kind of in between her glute and my leg. Right? So become very stable. Right? And I'm just sitting here thinking like, okay, what's for dinner? Okay. Okay. No expectation, that's the key. For her to process. So the key for us, like Muhammad did, right, is to say we're going to repeat this, and through this we're going to invent things. Okay? Based on how you feel, you're going to invent. Okay? And sometimes when you do it, and the next time the person said, "Can you do what you did last time? It was so good." I say, "What did we do last time?" And the person describes that you can't do it this time
Yeah.
because the person does not have that condition.
That's why I get nervous when I had like return client. They say, "Oh, your last lesson was great. I want you to sing." I'm like, it's gonna be same or not. You get a little nervous. Yeah,
That's
but
right.
this is good.
Yeah, yeah. So you can feel like I wish I could, but I can't.
Right. Yeah.
You're gonna get whatever you're gonna get this time.
Right.
Okay?
But it'll be what you need today.
See, when the people come in with expectation, it's very hard to meet.
Sure.
Right? Because a part of the fun to a session is you don't know what you're gonna get.
Right.
So from here, I can open this up. Right? For most women, it's important to open this up as well. Okay? So essentially, we're twisting. We're doing a twisting to open this
Oh,
up.
yeah.
So if I want to open her up more, I basically go into this position, pushing this part of her body, okay? Like right here, below the knee. If I try to do here, it slips, right? But if I do this, I catch myself here. So. And with time, her back is going to soften. Okay? So this is really allow her to process. We can go in here, most massage is actually defeating the nervous system. Induce so much pain until the nerve goes, all right, you win. Okay? And it feels better, right? But to me, it's not empowering. This to me is empowering because you decide.
Yeah.
We're just putting you in position. Okay. So when it's open good enough, right? We do Nahojo Seikon. Okay. So in this position, I can actually tilt her and get this hand to be like here, right? And do this, and boom, on her Seikon.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. So this is not invasive.
Right,
This is not violating.
right,
Right? This doesn't feel unsafe
right.
because it goes from the side. Right? And my hand is right on her sacrum. Right? And once I'm in position, I just completely relax.
Where that is too.
It disappears.
Yeah, to the side. Because when you have your hand there, like your leg there.
Okay, let me do it again. Okay? Let me do it again. Okay? This time you don't help me, okay?
All right.
So it's here. Come over here. It's almost like I'm grabbing the other hand, right? And then this whole thing, my body actually comes in. So I'm using my body, right? And then I put my hand. And I can traction ever so slightly, and then I completely relax.
Put your hand like this.
My hand like this. I'm basically cupping this like, and I just completely relax. So I'll be waiting. What am I waiting for? Right? I'm waiting to feel more and more weight in my hand.
Yeah, as she gives over.
Yes.
Because as she opens
She-
or relaxes,
Soften.
Yeah.
she'll soften right into your hand.
Yeah. I used to do massage when I was like a teenager, when I was 20s, and it was more like this, although it was actual massage, and I would have them lay on the floor on a mat, but I would say I get more hollow of my hips, and then I would start. If they said, oh yeah, I got terrible pain up here, I'd feel all over and see what was moving and what wasn't. I might start at your hips. They'd be like, well, I don't know why you started there, but all right. And then after a while, I could feel as the muscles were moving. And I felt like I'm having a conversation, my mind to your muscles. I'm having a conversation. Do you feel safe with me?
Right.
Do you feel safe when I touch you here? Do you feel safe with this pressure? I don't have to ask you because that's going to engage your
Right.
mind.
Right.
But I can tell, your muscles are going to tell me, do you feel safe? And then, right, when you get that give, you're like, bingo, you feel safe. Now I can move up an inch or two. And now I can work my way up. And then in, I don't know, 40 minutes, I'm like, all right, we're done. And they're like, I don't know what you did, but it's different from
That's right.
anything anyone else has ever done. And I could have been, oh, well, I couldn't go to massage school because there wasn't anyone teaching what I did. So then licensing came in and I couldn't get licensed because I didn't go to massage school. And I was like, I don't want to do this full time. But I love doing it.
This is definitely not taught.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. It's not taught.
I mean, nobody's going to teach this because it looks useless. What are you doing?
But it's
Right.
so subtle. And then if you ask them afterwards, they're like, wow, that was like the best thing. What did you do to me?
So to me, that's why I'm grateful. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm grateful to share this with you and
Yeah.
everybody else because you guys resonate. Okay,
Yeah.
to a class. Okay, I have classes that I either get very high
Oh,
feedback
Marks,
or
yeah.
extremely low. This guy is not teaching
Not
us
doing
anything because
anything.
there's no protocol.
Oh,
Right?
wow. Yes.
It's so subtle.
Because they don't feel safe. Right? Protocols is safe.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, so to remove the hand, same process. Okay, so the hand comes up.
Yeah. You're supporting it, right?
So from this position, we can actually work on the spine as well.
Yeah.
Okay, spine just like get on one spine and traction. Okay. Basically, open up the entire spine.
It look like also Seattle they use same holding.
So probably, but I never learned. So to me, ultimately, it's like it's our body structure. Everybody's body structure is different. Right? What I do may or may not be easy for another person to do. Right? But it's an approach.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And we may not be able to work on every body type, right? but we'll be able to cover quite a few.
Sure.
And the key is not to hurt ourselves.
Right.
So far, I haven't used my thumb
Right.
at all.
Yeah, right.
Very, very important. Okay?
Yeah.
Because thumbs are easily injured. And when you injure a thumb, it's not fun. It's very, very hard to heal. Because when you work your thumb, you actually don't feel it until it's the same thing with the knee. Yeah. So what we learn in school is like, okay, you have this and you got this and then,
Right. Yeah.
please. You know, yeah, that's the worst thing you can do to anybody. Because if I do this, it's like I'm stabbing you.
Yeah.
Right? Why do we want to stab people?
And then your whole body is thankful. Your whole body tenses up because the
That's
panther
right,
is
yeah.
attacking.
And it's like, when's this over? When's this over?
Yeah, when is this over? Yeah.
Okay.
And I had a sheet on the side of the very painful.
So another thing we can do with,
So Japanese, right?
so there are all kinds of interesting mechanisms. Okay, people go like pain is good. Right? Pain is good to defeat the nerve. Okay? But to me, this is
Thank you.
interesting.
Let me wipe my tears away.
So another way to really open up the knee is actually something like this. Okay, so you do this, put your hands in here, and then you kind of just stretch it. Okay? So what I'm doing is actually I'm stretching this part over here. Okay, this entire thing, right? And I can apply so much pressure to do it. Interesting, right? I'm not doing it. Isn't that cool? Right? This is nice, right? So this hand here is actually the safety because I'm not jamming your knee joint. And I'm doing this right on the edge. If this muscle elongate more, I'm going to take more.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right, you can feel it. Yeah, you feel it give a little.
So why would I be able to do this? It's because I focus on my balance. Okay? Let me try this again, okay? I'm not balanced anymore. You're not supposed to feel safe now. Right? It's not the same. Okay? So interesting, right? So
Yeah.
so anybody who's interested, work on another person, get feedback. Right? In terms of safe or not safe. Well, is this
Yeah.
good for you? People will always say, oh, it's very good. When is it going to end? I think I have enough. Okay? But get feedback. Okay? See how they feel.
Safe, you're safe. Yeah.
Okay? So from this position, so if you do train on, the most important part is probably the chest and the abs. Okay? So the thing we talk about is pericardium channel on the side of the chest.
Yeah.
Okay? That can be extremely painful.
Yeah.
For people who don't mind, I always work on it. Okay? It's very, very, very important.
Yeah.
Even if we just introduce the pain,
Mhm.
because then we bring back association.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's up to the person to work on themselves with tender loving. So tender lovingness. It's like I'm gonna work on my, work on the chest, for example, and say, oh wow, it's so painful. Not like, oh, it's so no. So they're very different. So when I was working with a group of cancers, my cancer support group, one time I almost cried because the lady said, you know what, John, I start to wash the scar of my cancer surgery, and it feels good. She was not able to even touch or feel or anything like that.
Before
Yeah. So really the key to love ourselves is every part of ourselves, physically, emotionally, respectively as well. Honor everything that ever happened. Good? Okay. So you definitely have tightness here, okay, like along this track. Okay. So for chest, do you mind? It's okay. So for chest, to be respectful and not violating, okay, the key is eyes are always level. You never want to look at your hand. Because if I look at my hand, she's going to feel like I'm totally violating her. Okay? It's not like I don't want to look. It's because I'm maintaining my connection to her. Right? So the intention is really to resolve. So here's your PC1. Okay? So the key is I find the PC1, okay, by basically putting my hand next to her, what's this bone right here? Clavicle. Okay? And this I will actually be sort of in the right place. Okay? You know, all we gotta do, and this is not a point thumb, it's just the thumb pad right there. Okay? So we want to minimize, we want to maximize the contact area. So I'm not stabbing her. If I stab her, she's going to contract even more.
Yeah.
So once I do that, my thumb is actually soft. Okay? My elbow is actually connected to my body. If I want to go in more, this is how I go in. You feel it? Okay? And when you open this up, for example, right, I'm going to go in even more. Again, using my body. My thumb actually never tightens.
So are you gently rubbing it, or are you
No.
just holding it?
Just right.
Holding it firm.
Allow her to process.
Okay.
So if I want to go in more, like right now she actually relaxed more, I will just take this up with my body. So a lot of people, when they first got started, said, where is it? Right? They're trying to find it, that's the first thing. Right? And once they think they find it, they actually start to go in
Yeah.
right away. So if we can find this point, and find the point between her third and fourth finger,
Oh, okay.
okay? And then it's a gentle pinch,
Yeah.
and then traction outward.
All right.
So what she will feel is this invitation for her pericardium channel to flow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this really opened up. So normally I do this on the left side. The left side is the emotional side. Okay? So most of us start with a liver chi stagnation from the left side. And the left side kind of makes sense, it's more the emotional side. Okay? But for people who later on become very, very diligent in organization and planning and everything else, the right side catches up. It can be equal. It's true? Okay. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because we want to even things out.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting.
And could you sense that when you had her lay on the table this direction?
A little bit, but she definitely opened it.
No, I just mean when you first had her on the table, she started to lay the other way, and you said, no, lay.
Well, I tend to say when people look into where it's not as bright.
Oh,
Because if she's laying here, she has to close her eyes.
Okay, all right.
Too much light.
Yeah. So do you only do one side?
So they come back, yes.
Yes, indeed.
That was great.
29 has been known to be a game changer.
Actually, I do both sides.
Okay.
But we always joke.
Yeah.
We're done. It's actually interesting because I actually work on a lady, she's acupuncture. She actually, well, anyways, she was in the PhD program. And I actually worked on her one side. And she couldn't forgive me for 3 years. She's like, how about the other side?
How am I balanced?
Because we didn't have time that time.
Oh, okay.
Later on, I did work on the other side. She said, it's not the same. You work on the other side. You are the acupuncturist. So the right side, in my opinion, they tend to be, if a person, you're not, okay, but if a person is righteous, okay, there can be a lot of pain around this area, a little bit tightness. You actually have a little bit too. Okay. So So the sense of being right, the right is very, very important. Can be a factor in blocking. So this is where your spleen enters here, come out of your heart channel, go all the way to your middle finger. Good? Alright. So let's say I did the other side. So at the end, if a person, all the sessions, I highly recommend that you do that. When your energy is beautiful now. Okay? I will actually do what I call closing. Okay? So closing is have one finger, normally I have this middle finger on income, the third eye. Okay? And then the other hand kind of goes through the midline, starting somewhere from upper chest in the midline, and I will gradually go here. So the whole idea is when we're doing this, the chances this person is very, very open physically, emotionally, perspective. Okay. And when they normally when this happens, they don't pay me. Okay. And they go out and they drive, they just feel like, where am I? Okay. So this kind of close down, close.
Yeah,
so if you're centered again, you can focus and function. Again. You're not wide open.
Right.
This also gives me a chance to close myself. So we do this until it's right around a little bit, maybe under the belly button. Okay. Then I'm gonna go down and grab her knees. Okay. So the key is not my both hands lead and grab the knee. If I do, you're gonna feel very awkward.
Right.
Where is this person? Okay. So what I do is I will replace one hand with the other hand. Just cup the knee, and this cups the knee.
Yeah.
For however long, I don't know. And I will actually bring both hands here, and I'll walk and grab all the toes, basically. And then I will actually, move my bucket back ever so slightly. So she will feel two vectors. One is a little bit uplift, the other one goes back. And this is when, I do another round of connection to her heart through loving kindness. I actually see anybody that's on the table as my parents. That's how I
As your
parents. I don't see them as my patients. I don't, because then I can very easily empower rather than I have to do something. Paying customers.
Right.
I have to do something.
Produce.
I don't put myself in that position. Parents, yes. So then I will not educate, I will not teach. It becomes very, very simple. I'm there to share. And I have a lot of gratitude, naturally. This is actually one of my ways to honor my parents as well.
Yeah.
Okay, then I can thank you so much. So in the clinic, I would highly, highly recommend, right? You guys do exchanges and sessions and whatnot, right? To really get to a sense that, oh wow, this is very, very doable. Even if you are acupuncturist and you are bound by time, right? You do this for a minute or two, it makes a huge difference. You communicate first. For example, if you hold my hand, right? That's right. Let's say if you hold my hand, how do you feel? Okay, connected. Or am I relaxed? Right? Not at all. Right? If you put a needle in me right now, not useful. Right? You're gonna wait until this is over. Then things will work. Because you're communicating with my body, and my body says, yeah, I'm ready. people first, thank you. When people first come in, they're in general not ready to receive any treatment, including Tuina, including massage. Right? Spend a little bit of time, and you say, "You're here, I'm here, right? Are we ready? I'm ready. Are we ready? Maybe we're not ready yet." Right? Oh, I haven't had lunch. Gosh, when's this gonna end? So spend a minute or something like that, right? Get to know each other. That actually makes a huge difference.
I think that the constraint of time is like always in the front of the head. Do I have time? How much time do I have?
Exactly.
And so we translate that to the patient.
Yes.
And I don't know if you have a practice. If we are to be as fluid as we possibly can, then how do we honor?
So what I do is have this concept of what's the most important thing to do right now, right? Given the time, given the constraint, given the chaos, given that we don't have power, given anything, what's the most important thing we can do right now, right? Because then there's something we can do, potentially, rather than, I'm in chaos mode. I used to shoot weddings as a photographer, okay? And you see people are so anxious because something is not right.
Yes,
And they're just agitated and anxious the whole time. It's like, can we just have a drink and dance a little, right? Right? We're being bogged down by these little things, and we lost ourselves. So to me, the question for myself is, what's the most important thing we can do right now? Right now. Yesterday we spent, 10 minutes basically, right? And that 10 minutes was beautiful,
Very beautiful.
and that's it. Right? It's not like, oh, we need an hour or we need however much time. No. Sometimes it lots of time it blows my mind. It's not time. It's how we, like you said, we have this pressure of time. Then we're in a different state. Then all of a sudden, then everything's like a domino. Let's just go down, right? Because we're pressing for time. Oh, let's do this quickly. So that's how I feel. But of course, to me, the practice of having 6 rooms and see 6 patients in an hour and stuff like that, right? That's not a good model. That's not a Chinese medicine model, right, at all. Right? So we have this artificial thing, and because of that, we need to use protocol, right? Essentially we look up and say, what's the signs and symptoms? Okay, all right. Then we're out. Right. But again, if we see them as parents, and we do what's most empowering, right? And sometimes answers pop up that's unbelievable. Especially a sense of safety, right? You ready? Want to be on the table? Right there. So I really want to introduce you to this method. Okay, patient is facing up. Because a lot of times when they face down, right? They're crying. There's a puddle. They have allergy. There's a puddle. So we don't want that. Okay? So for her, yeah, beautiful. Okay. So when I first hold her knee, very rigid. Okay? hip was rigid, knee was rigid, everything is rigid. If I put myself in a good position and just hold, right, the hip relaxed, and we can continue to hold. In general, if I have time, again, pushing for time, right, I will actually do the other side. Here we go. I grab this leg already. Let's continue. So I will just hold. I will continue to hold, see if anything changes. Okay? If nothing changes, I continue to hold. So this is, sensitivity comes in. Okay? Some people are more sensitive, some people are less so. I'm not very sensitive. I am very principle driven, less sensitive than more principle. Yeah, I'm surprised. Some people could tell me a boatload of sensations. Great for you. I don't normally have it, and so far it's been okay. So I keep doing this and just feel like I got her permission to continue. Okay? So right now her knee is actually soft. I can do some up and down motion and she's okay with it. Then I support her knee with my leg, so I can do more flexion. I can do more of this work. And at some point, I'm just going to let it hang. Again, I really don't know what I'm doing, but it feels this is the thing to do. Because I need, right? So the key is really to communicate with her body. Take what her body gives me, what position I feel is most comfortable for me. And go from there. Can you see yourself doing this in the corner?
Yeah.
And when I connect to her heart of gold and see her as my mom, everything is different. I'm not seeing her as a patient, as somebody who has knee pain. I'm seeing her as somebody who I'm very, very close with. I'm trying to figure out what to do. I'm not doing this. I'm working on it. I'm actually asking her body for advice on how to proceed. So this is where sensitivity or intuition comes into play. Yeah. That's one thing we like to hear.
45, so probably, go to.
I'm so glad for
Right, because
Both of you gonna hold her hand. Sit down. Find, be comfortable, completely comfortable. Okay? Support her from her wrist to her elbow. So it's important to, there's this misperception that there's evil chi. Okay? There's no such thing as evil chi.
Thank you.
Okay? Whoever says evil chi, those are the people who are affected by evil chi. Evil chi is in the mind. Okay? You're not gonna say your mom has evil chi, so you, you don't want to touch her or something like that. There's no position around the person's body that should be avoided. Okay? When we connect through loving kindness to the other person's particle, there's no evil chi. It's not about evil chi, it's about how connected we are to loving kindness. I hope in your school they will teach evil chi.
oh yeah.
So that's actually the worst translation, because evil chi doesn't mean evil. It means it's not upright. It's not upright. That's what it means. It's not center. It's not upright. But the translation becomes evil chi, and all of a sudden everyone has evil chi. If there's evil chi, none of us should be here. I think the person is gone, there's no evil chi left. It's ridiculous. Okay? And the teachers or professors, they keep telling people they're evil chi and you have to do a lot of qigong or a lot of cleansing yourself and da da da. Honestly, they're the least healthy people in life. Because they're hyper vigilant. How do you honestly treat a person if you think they carry evil chi into the world? How do you do that? I don't know how to do that. It's amazing how they can do that.
And they dance around this explanation because believe me, not just myself, many people will be like, well, you said that the devil isn't evil in this time. It's evil because it's out of its place. And so it's interesting, like going back to suppression, when you're out of your place, how easy it is to become. I was like, so when I realized how easy it is to become evil, I was like, yeah, I'm not that afraid of it.
Just a word.
I could be evil.
Yeah, just a word. Yeah.
So when we connect to another person's heart, there's no such thing as
Yeah. Yeah.
So my feeling is, for me, there's a lot of tightness on here, tremendous amount of tightness. Okay? Circulation has been impeded over here. Do you feel this? Okay. And there's a lot of tightness along the hamstring, okay, around this area. Feel that? Okay. So all these things need to get worked out before I can work on you. Because otherwise the knee is basically like being held very, very tight. Interesting, right? So you can't just say, okay, somebody has a knee issue, we're going to go directly to the knee. Take your time, surround.
Yeah.
Really take your time.
May I take a picture of you all, just for me? Nothing else I can do? Yes.
I was trying to connect.
I'm sorry, but I just didn't want to take the picture and then later you'd be like, I want a picture. This looks cool, especially yellow.
Isn't it beautiful to have a session like this? Where it's just pure love.
Right.
I want y'all to know I feel very
Look how this looks. Yeah, that's why I like it.
most times when I try to sleep at night, I sleep well because I'm guarded.
So on a session like this, who is taking home? Yeah, so it's mutual. Like who is teaching home? It's mutual. So very quickly we're going to lose the sensation that we are better or we know more than the patient. We will never know more than the patient's condition because we don't feel it. It's not in our power. So we learn from the patient. Learning doesn't mean, how do I do this? No, that's not it. Because we learn from her body's reaction, her body's action and reaction. Now we hold with the intention for her to expand. Okay, our hold is going to be slightly different. So it's okay to expand more. But again, it's an intention. It's not a we play the
Myself, by doing that, you feel calm.
when a person gets up, it's like, so beautiful. And they look at you and say, you're handsome. It's the circulation of it. We're all going to be circulating. All these soften. Now it's like jello. And she was doing that, right? Release a lot of stuff. So body actually feels safe. Shan will do magic.
Oh, Rocky knows where I live.
Yeah, they met before on the Eskimo for a while.
Oh, okay then.
They
Good.
met once before. Yeah.
So you're gonna fully support her knee. Okay? Do not let her knee heal. So when you support her knee, right, that's when she's safe. And you're not gonna let go. If you let go right now, she's gonna heal. So when you support a joint, you wanna truly support a joint. So if I work on her elbow, I'm gonna support this elbow joint at all. So knees are especially important. So when you want to work on a knee, you have to put your hands above the knee, right? So you can grab the knee. You actually move the knee from here, from her hip. So you're actually not stressing the knee. Right? But if you just lift her leg like this, it's not safe. You should probably have a scar here, right? Because you have a knee replacement. Let's go on a knee patch. So I have a lady, she was like, she couldn't, put on her shoes or her socks and everything else. And she was a veteran. I said, okay, we're gonna needle your this. That was my first needle. I was the intern manager or something like that. I got permission from the teacher. And she was yelling and screaming. I said, yeah, he's cursing at me, right? We're just gonna finish this because it's really, really painful. But afterwards, she was able to put on her shoes and her socks, and she was happy. She was so happy. It's like, I just took that cannonball off my knee.
She had to cut you off first.
Yes.
She had to cut you off first, and
Yes.
then you got through it.
Yes.
Is it her?
Does it hurt?
No.
No.
Is that the one?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is the one where the
Yeah.
knee replacement is there.
So when you want a traction boost, one is always support.
Okay.
When you can move your body.
And what's interesting is where I feel it is right here. The gallbladder. Yeah.
That makes sense, right? All that is the body, right? She's being fight, she's being in battle.
Constantly.
That's why I asked you when it hurts. Like, would you guard it?
Well, I guard it when I
It's
see
very
it.
different, right?
No, I'm not, because I know I'm safe.
Why do you
But, and what's interesting is
You want to do it this
when
way?
John was on this side, I felt sick enough to allow the work to be done, but I was still holding here and here, and I could feel myself slowly releasing.
And you just gonna grab her neck. And once you grab it, you traction.
Oh, that's true.
I said
I'm
you don't
getting
have
ready
to
to
help
help.
me.
Isn't that cool?
I got all this stuff on me.
That's
So you traction ever so slightly. Once you're here, you traction out a little bit, and then you relax your both hands. And you find yourself super comfortable. If not, you adjust yourself. So the goal is, the key is actually you. It's not her. She gets better, great. But you have to do it.
Yeah, that's all I do. And if I feel like I heard you say about the bucket and being really comfortable, and for us in that biodynamic craniosacral group, we will use props.
Uh-huh.
But more and more I find myself just not taking a position